and thank you for coming to our event, Future of Robotics, Emerging Ways in the US and Japan. My name is Atsushi Mizushima, a program manager of Keizai Society. First of all, I've got a couple of the housekeeping items. The first, as always, I would appreciate it if you could turn off your cell phone. And please note that we do not allow photograph or video shooting during the event. And the bathroom is downstairs, so, and the Keizai Society is active on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. So please join our group on this website. And also we have volunteer positions available for project manager and other roles. So if you're interested in, please let us know. That said, I'd like to begin the program by thanking our very special panelist and moderator. And I'd like to thank Mr. Okada, the Chief Executive Director of the JETRO, Japan External Trade Organization in San Francisco, for his great support for this event. And before I introduce our panelists and moderator, Nori and hand the floor, we also want to take a moment to introduce and thank the sponsors of Keizai Society. For this, I will turn to my colleague, Joe, please. Thank you.
Keizai Society is very thankful to its sponsors, and we'd just like to read a little bit to you about each sponsor. PARC, a Xerox company, is in the business of open, collaborative innovation. PARC creates new business options, accelerates time to market, augments internal capabilities, and reduces risk for its global clients, which range from Fortune 500 companies and startups to government agency partners. PARC does this by providing custom R&D services, technology, expertise, innovation, best practices, intellectual property, and more. Sugure Mion PLLC is one of the largest law firms practicing exclusively in the field of intellectual property law. Based in Washington, D.C. with offices in Silicon Valley, San Diego, and Tokyo, Sugure has obtained more patents than any other firm in the country. Sugure also specializes in litigating intellectual property matters in U.S. courts, the International Trade Commission, and the Board of Patent Appeals and Interferences. With a history of U.S.-Japan experience and successes, including Oracle Japan and Salesforce.com, Sunbridge provides venture capital, professional services, and business facilities in Tokyo, Osaka, and Silicon Valley to maximize the global market potential of high-growth companies. More than 145 years ago, Union Bank's founders had a vision of offering comprehensive financial solutions to individuals and businesses. Today, Union Bank honors that history with a commitment to superior service for our customers, employees, shareholders, and the communities we serve. Wilson Sonsini, Goodrich & Rosati is the premier provider of legal services to technology, life sciences, and growth enterprises worldwide, and the financial institutions that support them. Fukuoka Center for Overseas Commerce in America, FCOCA, is a division of the government of Fukuoka, Japan, dedicated to growing business between Fukuoka and North America. Intrax Cultural Exchange provides companies with exceptional international university students to fill seasonal and long-term internships through the J1 Exchange Visitors Program. Kazan International's CEO, Mr. Tsuyoshi Taira, is a prominent angel investor and management consultant in both Silicon Valley and in Japan. Founded 35 years ago, the law firm of Teraoka and Partners, LLP, guides and serves its international and domestic clients in every legal aspect of operating their businesses. The firm commits its legal excellence, global experience, practical savvy, and international perspective to ensure every client's success. This winning spirit has enabled Teraoka and Partners to become a preeminent international Pacific Rim law firm on the West Coast. ZL Technologies offers innovative enterprise software solutions for the management of unstructured big data. Unified Archive, the flagship product of ZL, provides the industry's only information management solution that seamlessly archives messages and files for compliance, e-discovery, records management, and storage optimization, all on a single platform. 108 faces. Do you have your pension, residency, family, and assets both in the US and Japan? 108 Faces is a financial advisor for such people. We help you plan your retirement and other goals by comprehensively examining both the US and Japanese perspectives. Sakino Consulting helps American and Japanese companies achieve extraordinary results in their product development and product launch efforts with partner companies and customers. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. So it is now my tremendous privilege to introduce our panelist and moderator. So Dr. Brian Gerke is CEO of OSRF, Open Source Robotics Foundation. Prior to joining OSRF, he was Director of Open Source Development at Willow Garage. Previously, he was a computer scientist in the Artificial Intelligence Center at SRI, and before that, a postdoctoral research fellow in the Artificial Intelligence Lab at Stanford University. He received his PhD in computer science from the University of Southern California in 2003, his MS in computer science from USC in 2000, and his BSc in computer engineering with a second major in mathematics and a minor in robotics and automation from Tulane University in 1998. And Dr. James Kuffner is a research scientist at Google and adjunct associate professor at the Robotic Institute, Carnegie Mellon University. He received a PhD from the Stanford University Department of Computer Science Robotics Laboratory in 1999. He spent 2 years at JEST SPS, Japan Society for Promotions of Science, postdoctoral research fellow at the University of Tokyo, working on software and planning algorithm for humanoid robotics. He joined the faculty at Carnegie Mellon University's Robotics Institute in 2002. He has published over 100 technical papers and received the Okawa Foundation Award for Young Researchers in 2007. Dr. Yasuhiro Ota takes the leading role as manager for Partner Robot Advanced Engineering Group at TEMA, Toyota Motor Engineering and Manufacturing North America. He is responsible for managing advanced R&D activities and is also being active as one of the few Japanese delegates for the ISO Robot Standardization Committee. Prior to joining TEMA, he worked for Toyota Motor Corporation in Japan, where he was engaged in the development of the world's first wire-driven bipedal robot, which was admirably displayed at the Toyota Pavilion as part of the Aichi World Expo in 2005. And Ms. Nori Kageki, our moderator, is a journalist with over 20 years experience covering technology and high-tech businesses in both Japan and the US. After studying applied physics at Hokkaido University, she became a technology writer at Nikkei, Japan's largest financial daily. She was Nikkei's Silicon Valley correspondent between 1997 and 2001. In 2005, Nori started GetRobo, a robotic news site, and has focused her work on the field of robotics since then. And now, please join me in welcoming Brian, James, Olson, and Nori.
I didn't make 100 slides. Don't worry, I will make 5.
I think I did. All right.
Okay. So this evening we have 3 superb speakers, and I am really honored to be here to moderate this discussion. In the beginning, my role is to give you a status report of where robotics is in Japan and in the United States. So first, Japan. Japan is definitely a world leader in industrial robots. Japan has the highest robot density, which means that the number of industrial robots per 10,000 workers in Japan is the highest in the world by far. And also Japan is recognized as home to many cool, advanced, one-of-a-kind robots and robotic technologies. 4 of them I introduced here on the slide. But there is a change in sentiment happening within the country. When the great earthquake hit the Tohoku area in March of 2011, the general public hoped that the robots would go in and do something about it. At the end, the robots that did go in and take pictures, measured radioactive environments, they were all from the United States. They were military robots from the United States. Meanwhile, in the marketplace, Japanese consumer electronics companies always said robotic vacuum cleaners are not going to make it in Japan. They won't sell. They were totally wrong. The Roomba has been very popular. Their Nito, which you saw outside, will be coming into the Japanese market soon. There are Korean manufacturers, Taiwanese manufacturers. Where are our robots that are supposedly being developed in Japan? Next, we look at the United States. There is lots of momentum. The US government launched the National Robotics Initiative in June of 2011. This is to accelerate the development of robots, development and use of robots that work besides human beings or work cooperatively with human beings. And then just last month, DARPA launched or kicked off what is called the DARPA Robotics Challenge. This is a very important development, which I think Brian will be talking about later. But just to go over it briefly, the goal of this project is to develop robots that can execute complicated tasks in dangerous environments. And this project was partially inspired by what happened in Fukushima. People think that if robots were able to go into the nuclear power plant, the scope of the disaster may have been, or could have been, reduced. So I personally hope that the Japanese government would start this kind of project, but they didn't. Instead, DARPA of the United States did. And then when you look at the business side, Amazon.com this year announced that they will be buying Keizai Systems, which is a warehouse robotics system company, for over $700 million. Suddenly, people are finding out that there's a lot of money to make out of robotics. So this is spurring investment in robotic startups in the United States. So there is lots of momentum. Both countries have their strengths, and we will talk about this in the discussion, and I will add on to this chart, and maybe the audience can also share their ideas too. The strength of the United States is first and foremost, there is the defense R&D. Think about the internet. Just like the internet, the robotics technologies that are initially being developed for defense will eventually trickle down to consumer robotics. This we don't have in Japan. The US also has rich individuals, people who made a fortune during the heydays of the internet. They are still young, they want to change the world, and they love robots. And many important companies are being founded by these rich individuals. And I think this part is also very important, it's the mobility of talent. For example, Professor Sebastian Thrun, who is an expert in autonomous driving, now works for Google. James Gosling, father of Java, now works for Liquid Robotics. This kind of dynamic movement of talent is, I think, the very strength of the United States. And then Japan has a very strong electronics parts industry. So if you want good hardware, I think Japan will have it. Also, Japan has a very receptive market. Because of the low birth rate and aging society, there is a lack of labor. In the United States, it's fairly easy to find cheap labor. In Japan, you cannot. So there is a big incentive in Japan to introduce these robots into the homes, into the workplace, into the factories. And also Japan has the savvy consumers who are willing to open up their purses to purchase new technology gadgets. The challenges that we face are the same. And I think in one sentence, it costs a lot of money to make and sell robots that people actually want to buy. So today I would like to break this up into 3 questions. Question number 1, where's the investment going to come from? We're going to use a lot of money. So one answer is the large corporations. The large corporations have the financial muscle to continue with their R&D. And also, more importantly, they have the support infrastructure. These robotics products will not be something that you can just sell and it's over. It will need service, it will need support. Maybe it will be like a car. So Ota-san of Toyota will talk about Toyota's strategy in robotics. Question number 2. Even if all the Toyotas of the world decided to invest in robotics, still it costs a lot of money to develop applications. So how do we lower development costs? Brian will talk about the power of open source and how that is helping the development community. Question number 3. Even if we did lower the development cost, it's inherently impossible for a robot to be carrying around a big, expensive brain and be as intelligent as people. So how are we going to have robots that are more intelligent, more useful, inexpensively? Why don't we use the network? And that is what cloud robotics is about, and James is an expert on that. So with that, I would like to ask Ota-san to come up and share his presentation.
Good evening. My name is Yasuhiro. I'm from Toyota Motor Engineering Manufacturing in Mountain View, California. So my topic today is about as I know you mentioned, Toyota, how Toyota has decided to get into quad robot development, as well as how we want to attack the future commercialization. So I'll be just introducing briefly about how we started this robotics development, and also how you want to look into the future. So as Toyota, we have a company, a global vision that we want to contribute, and also we want to contribute to society to make a better world. So as an automobile company, we have this big milestone that we want to make a better car. We want to make even better cars. So that we want to also enrich the lives of the communities. Then, so we have been developing mostly automobiles, but we have begun into part robot development. The reason for that is that we want to get into, so that will be described in more detail in the later slides, but we have, as you know, that we have many workforce shortages with the declining birth rate and also the aging population. So this is one of the solutions that we believe as a Toyota. And also, Nori just mentioned her slides that why Japan didn't get into those Fukushima plant resolutions with the Japanese robots. I think that as a Toyota's view is that in Toyota, we have been focusing on mostly healthcare applications, healthcare and medical applications. And this is one of the reasons that why also a lot of Japanese corporations and researchers have been working on their robots, mostly for the healthcare applications, not for the military applications or for the human rescue missions. So I guess we can come back to this discussion later. But anyway, looking back into the history of the part robot development in Toyota, we have begun our part robot development in early 2000. Our first milestone was to showcase our part robot at the World Expo in Aichi, Japan, and that was in 2005. And for entertainment purpose, we first developed the trumpet playing robots at the Aichi Expo. And that was a great success, and we ran this musical performance at the Toyota Pavilion for 6 months without any failures. And after the expo, as a Toyota, we don't want to just, we need to make some profits. So we put some milestones on our vision so that we want to get to more practical applications. And I'll be showing more detail these 4 target areas in the later slides. But anyway, due to the Chinese government's strong request, we also showcased our musical robot. And this time in 2010, at the Shanghai Expo, we showcased this violin robot. Now we want to look into more commercialization for actual implementation of our technologies. So, as you may know that a lot of countries, including Japan, also a lot of European countries, as well as the US, are facing some challenging social impact. As you can see from this graph, this red plot shows the Japanese population trend. And nowadays it's 2012, so if you look at the Japanese age population, about 1/4 of the population in Japan is elderly persons. And it is similar way that a lot of European countries such as Germany, Sweden, also France are facing the same way. And the US is really lagging, but the trends, you can see that the aging population is increasing rapidly. And so if you look at the Japanese population trend, if you look at the 2050, almost 1/2 of the population will be elderly persons. So that from this graph, you can expect some issues. For example, the one is that you'll be expecting to have increased patients who need health care or medical care. And also that we can expect that having growing burden on care industries. And also that having this aging population, we will be expecting some workforce shortage. So in order to compensate these issues, national issues, or maybe world issues, we need to have some solutions to support and compensate those workforce shortage. So the Toyota believes that one of the solutions will be to have partner robots to work for those industry or for daily lives. So they want to improve the quality of life in daily lives. Now, as I mentioned in our earlier slide, we have set 4 target areas of development. As an automobile manufacturer, we have set this one target area as manufacturing support. So, in fact, at the Toyota plants, we have already implemented some of the robot technologies into the industrial robot applications, such as this windshield installation operation, and also this spare tire loading into a trunk, into automobiles. Also, as a mobility company, we have also begun some development and also some field testing for short distance personal mobility, such as this intelligent wheelchairs and as well as this winglet. It's similar to a Segway, but it's much more compact in weight and also size. And also this nursing healthcare has been our Toyota's most important also main focus nowadays. But I'll be showing more details on this one. But we have recently, last year, about a year ago, 2011, we have also we made a press conference announcement that we have been working on this exoskeleton wearable type of robotic device for rehabilitation purpose. And also, just last month in Tokyo, we also made a press conference that we have been working on this caregiver robot, so-called the human support robot. And I'll be showing you more detail in a later slide. And also in the future, we want to work into the more domestic applications, such as for house chores and also taking care of your children and so on. Now, for the healthcare applications, Toyota is nowadays working on basically 3 areas or 4 prototypes. So those 3 areas is one is to have independency. So a lot of elderly persons, not only elderly persons, but as you age, your physical ability gets decreased. So you want to have some assist when you walk. So in Japan nowadays, based on the investigations, we find that a lot of elderly persons, also physically impaired persons, have difficulty walking or standing. So we have developed this exoskeleton type wearable device to support walking, for walking. And also the second area is for training or rehabilitation purpose. So that one is similar to this walking assist, but it can be used for rehabilitation purpose at the rehabilitation center or hospitals. And also it can be also this one is as I mentioned, it's a winglet device. It's a two-wheel mobility, but it can be also used for a rehabilitation purpose for those who are having the difficulty standing or balancing by themselves. So we have made this not only just hardware, but also this software like a weekend, so the patients can have fun at the same time as they train, unlike a conventional tedious process. The last one here is that the so-called patient transfer robot. This robot is for to transfer a patient or those who are having difficulty in mobility, and also to help caregivers or nurses at the hospital to move the patient or those who are having difficulty in mobility from a bed to wheelchairs, or from wheelchairs to the toilet and so on. These prototypes can be also found in the Toyota website if you're interested. And I will be going through more details about these 4 robots due to the time constraint, but you can find them on the Toyota website if you're interested. Now, for those 4 prototypes, we have set some milestones for actual commercializations. So for these target 4 prototypes, we have already begun some field trials at some Japanese hospitals and also the related facilities with the actual patients and medical members. So they were now trying to target to commercialize these 4 prototypes within the next 2-3 years or so. Starting from Japan, and once the business becomes successful, they will launch a new business into the US as well as the other countries in European countries or so. So this slide shows the recent development, and this is the so-called HSR or human support robot. And this was also announced in Tokyo last month at the Robotics conference. So nowadays, you might have got some information about this HSR, but nowadays you see some service dogs to support those patients or the persons at home who are having difficulty picking up an object or who are having difficulty in walking. So these service dogs can pick up some objects from the floor or from the desk and so on. But a few demerits about the service dogs are that one is that this maintenance cost, or so training cost, is very heavy for those users. Also, that they have to get a lot of training for those dogs. And also, I heard that from a lot of users that these dogs, they are intelligent and they are very acute.